Hello everybody, my name is Jackie and welcome to the first proper episode of Prairie Sports Talk, the podcast where we talk about sports that directly impact the Canadian Prairie. We got a lot to talk about today on January 3rd, 2024. Here are some of the topics we will be covering today. We got a major retirement in the CFL as well as a potential major shakeup coming with free agency. And then over in the WHL, the Swift Current Broncos are off to a blazing hot start, getting 5 out of a potential 6 points so far post-Christmas break. I will also talk about how I think Owen Pickering, the captain of the Broncos, was snubbed from the Team Canada World Junior roster. As well as to close out the show, I will be talking about how great of a job the Swift Current Broncos did to honor the memories of the 4 players that were lost in the 1986 Bronco bus crash. We got a lot to talk about today. I hope you guys will join me. Hope you guys enjoy the show. After 14 years and nearly 140 sacks, arguably the greatest defensive lineman in CFL history, Charleston Hughes has retired. Charleston Hughes joined the CFL in 2008. That was right around the time I got into the CFL. Since 2007, I have watched every single Rough Rider game. And there were few games I dreaded more as a Rider fan than when we had to play against a team Charleston Hughes was on. Growing up, I hated Charleston. I really did. Not because he was a bad person, not because he was a bad player. None of that. I hated him because he was good. He was so incredibly good. And I hated how badly he made every offensive line look, especially the Rough Riders. God only knows how many sacks of his 136 he had against Saskatchewan. Too many. Way too many. But after he was traded out east to Hamilton so Calgary could get him out of the division, Hamilton turned around and dealt him back west to the Rough Riders. He went from one of my least favorite players in the league to one of my favorites. The surfboard dance that he did after every sack immediately became a staple in Saskatchewan, just like it was a staple in Calgary. He was a beloved player and he will be a beloved retired player now. There will be one moment that I'll never forget with Hughesy. I remember the Riders were losing pretty badly in a game. Although the score was close, the Riders were being outplayed. Charleston Hughes saw there was a fumble in the backfield. He got through the offensive line and he knocked the ball downfield. He chased it, he picked it up, and ran it into the end zone. New Mosaic Stadium exploded. Like, oh my god, the Rough Riders have momentum. They have a chance to get back in this game. Let's get going. And then the refs called it back because it was an illegal play. I forget what the exact call was, but it's basically so that the CFL doesn't have an equivalent of the fumble-rooski play. Look, I understand not wanting to have that in the game. The fumble-rooski is a very easily exploited play, and it's very hard to stop. But that is the kind of play that, as a fan and as someone who wants to see the CFL grow, it sucked that it wasn't allowed. It really did. I saw that play and was just thinking to myself, now that's marketing material for the CFL. That's how you grow the game. And then they called it back, and I just kind of hung my head in shame, just like, come on. Look, I understand why it was called back, but it does not change the fact it was incredibly frustrating. In the unlikely case that Charleston or his family are watching this video, I'd like to wish you the best in your retirement. Wish you the best in your future endeavors. I know whatever you decide to do, you're going to be amazing at it. You seem like a truly amazing person, someone that I would one day love to meet, even if it's just for like 30 seconds. But whatever you choose to do, I know you're going to be great at it just because of the work ethic you have and all the amazing stories I've heard about you over the years. I personally would absolutely love to see you as a CFL ambassador. But like I said, whatever you do, you're going to be great at it. Thank you for everything you've done for the CFL over the years. Thank you for all the memories and just thank you in general. So, you guys want to speculate some? You want to overthink it just a smidge? Well, CFL free agency is coming up. It's right around the corner, and a lot of CFL stars have not re-signed with their team. Outside of Montreal, most teams have been fairly quiet with re-signing their superstars, which includes the Toronto Argonauts. The major free agent that the Argonauts have this season, AJ Olaft. He's coming off a season with over 2,000 rushing yards. No, that is not me misspeaking. I said 2,000. Well, recently, he had a contest online. He had a social media contest where he gave away a signed poster of him, some game-worn cleats, some game-worn gloves, and some trading cards. A Saskatchewan Roughrider fan I follow on Twitter, Sheldon Jones 83, link to his account and this tweet in the description, won the giveaway. He made a slight comment, just jokingly saying, "Oh, I can't wait to see you in the green and white next year." Gave out AJ Olaft a perfect chance to shoot down a rumor right here, right now. How does Olaft respond? Starting the arguments already. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining in on the social media contest we had. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but to me, this sounds like AJ Olaft would not be against leaving the Argos. This sounds like he wouldn't be against joining the Rough Riders. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased because I'm a Rider fan. Maybe I'm overthinking this. My mind has a habit of doing that. But to me, it is incredibly interesting that he didn't shoot it down. Like I said, maybe I'm overthinking this. But that's all I have to go off of right now. But I just thought it was worth mentioning. Who knows? Maybe we could see AJ Olaft in the backfield for the Rough Riders next season, taking handoffs from Trevor Harris or whoever we have at the helm next year. On to the world of junior hockey. The Swift-Current Broncos have come firing out of the Christmas break. They beat Lethbridge, they beat Medicine Hat, and despite going up against a really good Red Deer team, they still took the Rebels to overtime. The Broncos got 5 out of a potential 6 points so far. That is huge. This is a really important stretch for all WHL teams. But a lot of those teams have players away at the World Juniors. The Broncos probably should have 1 or 2 players away. Reed Dick, if he was healthy, he would be at the World Juniors. But Owen Pickering, for some reason, despite being healthy, he wasn't invited to camp. The general consensus around town is he should have been invited to Team Canada's training camp. Or tryout, sorry. But he wasn't. Well, that sucks. It really does. Pickering deserves to be showcased on a stage as big as the World Juniors. But the Broncos can make this count. Well, teams are missing key pieces as they go into the second half of the season. Beyond injuries, the Broncos aren't missing much. Injuries happen to every team. There's not a whole lot you can do about that. So this is a point in the year where the Broncos can and need to gain some ground on the Rebels, who are ahead of us in the standings. This is an important part of the season. The Broncos go to Lethbridge tonight to take on the Hurricanes again, and then they welcome the Spokane Chiefs to town as well. If the Broncos can win these games before players start coming back from the World Juniors, things are looking really good for this team. This is a highly skilled roster in my opinion, and with Owen Pickering still in town, the Broncos still have their captain. They still have their heart and soul. They still have the beating heart of this team. The Broncos can and should capitalize on this on this chance. I think the Broncos can really make a difference through this stretch. But hey, only time will tell. I really do think this is a great opportunity for the team, though. And just before today's episode ends, I just want to acknowledge that the anniversary of the 1986 Swift Current Broncos bus crash just passed. December 30th, 1986, the Swift Current Broncos were headed east to play against the Regina Pats. Unfortunately, the bus hit a patch of black ice and crashed. This killed 4 players: Trent Cressy, Scott Krugel, Chris Mantica, and 16-year-old Brett Ruff. It's always a very somber day in Swift Current on the anniversary. The Broncos always do something at that night's game to honor the players. And this year they did a really good job, as they usually do, but this year it felt like they took it to another level. They had a tremendous song and video produced honoring the players. And I will leave a link in the description to the video. I highly encourage you guys to go watch it. And if you're not aware of too much surrounding the situation, I highly encourage you to take the time to Google what happened, read some news reports. I'm not the best person to explain what has happened, because there have been so many people who have explained it better than I would be able to. But I just wanted to acknowledge it. Anyway, that's everything I have for you guys this week. This has been Jackie for Prairie Sports Talk, signing off. Stay safe, stay strong, you got this.